He admitted to arson in court and walked free. I once watched a man proudly admit to arson in court, and somehow he walked out a free man. I was on jury duty, and the guy on trial was accused of burning down his own barn. He wasn't your typical criminal, just an older farmer, maybe in his late 50s, with worn hands and a calm face that looked more tired than guilty. But the prosecution made him sound like a mastermind. A week before the fire, he'd been seen carefully moving everything valuable out of the barn. Old tools, machinery, even a few antique signs. He even mowed the hayfields in a wide 50-yard circle around the building, like he was preparing for what was coming. On the day it happened, a neighbor saw him walking around the barn, pouring something from a blue gas can along the base of the walls. Minutes later, the entire place went up in flames. The witness called 911 right away, and firefighters showed up within 5 minutes, but by then, the barn was gone. They smelled diesel, did a quick check, and confirmed it was arson. The man was arrested on the spot. He refused to say a word, not to the police, not to the district attorney, just asked for his lawyer and waited. When the trial started, the prosecution came out swinging. Their argument was simple. This was insurance fraud. The barn was insured, and the man burned it down to cash out. They had witnesses, the neighbor, the firefighters, even played the 911 call. Everything lined up perfectly. And then came the defense. The lawyer stood up and called his client, the farmer, to the stand. His first question, let's cut to the chase. Did you burn your barn down? Yep, the farmer said calmly. The courtroom fell silent. You could hear someone's pen drop. Why'd you do it? The lawyer asked. It was old, the man replied, full of termites, falling apart, not safe to keep standing. The lawyer nodded slowly. And have you always burned old farm buildings like that? Yes, sir. I'm a farmer. My daddy was a farmer. He did the same thing before me. Are you aware you need a permit to burn debris in this county? The farmer shook his head. We've been burning on this land for generations. It's agricultural property. We don't need a permit. I turned to look at the prosecutor. His face went white. Everyone in the courtroom could see it. That one sentence just destroyed their entire case. But the farmer wasn't done. His lawyer asked, if that's true, why didn't you just tell all this to the police? The man leaned into the microphone. They didn't ask. They just cuffed me, told me I was under arrest for arson and fraud. Then they read me my rights and said anything I said could be used against me. So I kept my mouth shut. I've heard people say, only talk to your lawyer. So that's what I did. The lawyer nodded. Did you ever file an insurance claim? The man frowned. What for? The barn wasn't worth anything. I moved all the good stuff out before the fire. At that point, the prosecutor dropped his head into his hands. The case was unraveling fast. Then came the final question. You told me you actually wanted this trial, even though you could have gotten the charges dropped. Why? The farmer looked around the room. Because they came onto my land and arrested me in front of my neighbors. They told everyone I was a criminal. My name's been in the paper for weeks. I wanted everyone to hear the truth, in the open. I'm not a dishonest man. I just did what farmers have always done. When he finished, the room stayed silent for a full minute. You could almost feel the shame in the air. Like everyone realized how quickly we had all judged him. The judge took about 20 minutes to deliberate. When he came back, he spoke softly. Case dismissed. The man didn't just win. He walked out with his head high, cleared of every charge. His lawyer shook his hand. Some of us jurors even clapped quietly. He admitted to burning his barn down, but it turned out it was his right to do so all along. And as I watched him step outside, sunlight hitting his weathered face, I realized sometimes justice isn't about guilt or innocence. It's about truth and the courage to stand by it.